Hello, my sweet little angels. Welcome back to another studio session. Unscripted, unfiltered, and for the most part, unedited. Today I'm going to take a little break from the St. George mosaic and work on this flower garden mosaic that I've been trying to finish for a while. And I'm sure now you hopefully have seen some rounds of this going around on the shorts pages. So this was one of the mosaics that I started off as an image, just turned one of these images into this here mosaic, and I think it's looking pretty fantastic. So this is where I got my inspiration, and this is the image it's turning into here. Now for this grass area here, I've got a bunch of these square tiles. And these square tiles come in a bunch of different shades of green. And for the grass, I'm going to just pick literally whichever ones I want and then just cut them into a circle and fill them in here. Sorry, it's very easy when we're starting off with squares. All I'm going to do to make these circles, or as close to circular as possible, is I'm just going to start by cutting off the four edges and making it into an octagon or like a stop sign. So with my straight edge nippers here, I'm just going to cut the edges, and there you go. It's becoming a little circle, a little stop sign, an octagon with 8 sides. Now you can stop there, or you can really go in and refine the shape by taking off bits more and more. You can make it as circular as you want, or you can roll with it. I'm gonna roll with it. I'm just going to make a bunch of these real quick. Maybe I'll make that into a time lapse, but you can see how, there you go. It fits in wherever you want it. So maybe I'm gonna move this aside and cut a bunch here, and I'll make this into a quick little time lapse for you guys. Now, so I've got myself a few circular pieces, I can start gluing them into where I want them to go. Let's start with this. Glue first, glob on a nice little section here. Try to have some variation in the tiles, so there's not super similar colored tiles next to each other. And you can keep a little bit of a gap if you wish, or you can jam the tiles right close to the existing tiles. I'm going to try something new when it comes to this piece. I'm going to try what is called clear grout. So the grout is not colored. It doesn't have like a black tint or a gray tint or any colored pigments in there. Instead, it is clear, and apparently it picks up the colors from the surrounding tiles, and it's supposed to look really good on these glass mosaic tiles. I've never used it. I am very curious about what it's going to look like. So when it comes time to grout this, which you guys will see, I will be using a clear grout. So I'm very interested in that, and we will try that together. We will try getting that together. Now you can see these little gaps here that I've left, and for that I'm just going to come back and custom make smaller circles that will go inside of those smaller gaps. But for the time being, I'm just using these bigger ones and filling this in. Like I mentioned before, shaping the tiles, if you do a big batch of tiles, and if you know you need a bunch of circular ones instead of cutting and gluing, I prefer to just cut a whole bunch right off the bat. Just cut a bunch of them, and then you can glue, and then you can go back to cutting. You can cut the next batch, glue the next batch, cut the next batch, glue the next batch, and so on. Cutting is definitely a very, you could say, almost therapeutic, because your brain's just focused on making the shapes. You're not really thinking about much else. So it's nice if you want to just zone out for a while, play some videos or some music in the background, and just keep your hands moving. Tiling is, or I guess lying the mosaic pieces down is my favorite part. I'm not super keen on laying the mosaic tiles down is my favorite part. I enjoy that a bit better than cutting, especially because lying the pieces down goes by really fast. You can lie down pieces very quickly, and cutting takes a bit more time and a bit more patience. But I didn't get into this. I didn't get into making mosaics because they are a fast thing to do. They take a while, they take patience, they take work, they take determination, and some willpower, and they also need some creativity and quick thinking sometimes. You're working against the drying of the glue, especially. When you look at the image, when you pick an image, you think, oh wow, am I going to be able to make this into a mosaic? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Most definitely turn most images into a mosaic. Most, not all. Depends on how ambitious you are, how many different tile colors you have, how much time you're willing to put into the piece. You can imagine some of the mosaics from antiquity that I've showed took years to make. And also, let's be honest here, there was many artists working on some of those pieces. It wasn't just one person working on those big mosaics that I've shown you in the Mosaics of Antiquity, the marvelous Mosaics of Antiquity videos. So when you've got a team of people working together on a mosaic, things go a lot faster. For example, instead of me having to cut this right now, if I had a little partner with me, they could be cutting. As I'm lying this down, they could be cutting, and you can imagine it would cut the time in half. Now, when I have these little offcuts here, you can see I've got all these little small shards, all the corners that have come off. Although you're seeing the clear edge of the glass, these are all green pieces, and I can use them in some of these really small, fine parts. So for example, let's show you with this flower here what I mean by the small parts. Andy, and just placing them down like that. Next color. Put that in there as well. And this is, again, I'm just adding in some greens. Although I chose a very time-consuming method, which is cutting all these into little circles and then gluing them on, you don't have to choose a method like that. You can just glue these on the way they are and sort of make it like a pixel art style mosaic, which is something that I'll also be showing you how to do. Pixel art mosaics are super beginner friendly. and really easy to do. And there are so many designs. You can even make your own designs if you have graphing paper. It's pretty much all you need to make a pixel art mosaic design is some graphing paper. You can customize your own. What I do is put the glue down, and I'm gonna cut one piece at a time. So each one of these I'm laying down piece by piece now. Finding the gap, filling the gap, seeing how big or small the next piece needs to be, and then I'm making that one piece at a time. So there's no cutting a bunch and just laying them down all willy-nilly now. Each piece now is being made with an intended spot in mind. And so for the most part, they should just go in. There you go. So this is where it gets a bit more custom to pieces. Instead of just one piece will fit anywhere, this is different now. We're making, where was that here? Yeah, we're making the piece to fit a specific spot. And sometimes I have to come back and adjust by taking more off. Sometimes we have to come back and sort of change the shape so that it'll fit in the certain spot. And in some cases you just have to give up on that piece and start a whole new piece again for that one certain spot. There you go. And let's have a nice dark tile in there. Actually, we got this one right here. Perhaps we can fit that into that gap. No, yes, just have to turn it around a little bit until we get the right angle, and there it goes.